Hello Army everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to discuss a revelation that's truly unexpected and shocked many people. So, in a recent very in-depth interview, BTS Jimin finally revealed who the artist he most admires throughout his life is. And guys, the answer is completely out of nowhere and shows another side of Jimin that we might never have imagined before. Before we dive into this shocking revelation, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you'll always be updated with the latest BTS content that will definitely surprise you. And trust me, after you hear this answer, your perspective on Jimin's artistic taste will be completely different. Okay, so let me set the context first. This interview happened during the promotional period for Jimin's recent solo work, and the interviewer was actually asking a pretty standard question about musical influences and artists who inspire him throughout his career. Most of us probably expected him to mention fellow K-pop artists, maybe some Western pop icons, or even classical dancers considering his dance background, but guys, when this question was asked, Jimin paused for quite a while, smiled mysteriously, and then he dropped a bombshell that literally left everyone in the studio speechless. He said that the artist he most admires and who has been most influential in shaping his artistic vision is Björk. Yes, you didn't hear wrong, Björk, the Icelandic experimental music icon known for her avant-garde style and unconventional approach to music and performance. The reaction of the interviewer and everyone in the room was absolutely priceless. You could literally hear a pin drop because no one expected this answer. Björk is an artist who is the complete opposite of mainstream pop culture, known for her experimental soundscapes, abstract visual concepts, and boundary-pushing artistic expressions that are sometimes considered too avant-garde for the general public. What makes this revelation even more fascinating is when Jimin started explaining his reasoning behind this unexpected choice. It turns out, he first discovered Björk's music a few years ago through a recommendation from someone in the music industry, and he was immediately captivated by her fearless approach to creativity and her willingness to completely ignore conventional boundaries. Jimin specifically mentioned Björk's album Homogenic as a pivotal moment in his artistic awakening. He described listening to that album as a transformative experience that opened his mind to possibilities beyond traditional music structures. The way Björk combines electronic elements with organic sounds, her unique vocal techniques, and her ability to convey deep emotions through unconventional methods really resonated with Jimin's own artistic aspirations. What makes this revelation even more surprising is how Jimin connects Björk's artistic philosophy with his own approach to performance and creativity. He explained that watching Björk's live performances and music videos taught him about the importance of vulnerability in art, and how true artistic expression comes from the willingness to be completely honest and unguarded with your emotions. Jimin also revealed that Björk's fearlessness in experimenting with different visual concepts and performance styles has influenced his own approach to solo work. He mentioned being inspired by how she creates immersive artistic experiences that engage all senses, not just auditory. This explains some of the unconventional elements we've seen in Jimin's recent solo projects. The interviewer, still clearly shocked by this revelation, probed deeper into how Jimin discovered this connection with such an experimental artist. It turns out, Jimin's appreciation for Björk started from her approach to movement and performance. Despite being primarily a musician, Björk incorporates dance and physical expression in ways that are very innovative and emotionally powerful. Jimin described watching Björk's performance videos and being amazed by how she uses her entire body as an instrument to convey emotions. Her unconventional movements, the way she inhabits space during performance, and her complete commitment to artistic vision regardless of how others might perceive it, all of these aspects deeply inspired Jimin's own evolution as a performer. What's particularly interesting is how this admiration for Björk has influenced Jimin's creative process. He revealed that when working on solo material, he often asks himself what Björk would do in a similar situation. Not to copy her style, but to channel her fearless attitude toward artistic exploration and her commitment to authentic expression over commercial considerations. Jimin also mentioned specific techniques he learned from studying Björk's work. Her use of unconventional vocal techniques, her approach to layering sounds, and especially her method of creating emotional landscapes through music have all influenced his own vocal development and songwriting process. The revelation becomes even more meaningful when Jimin explained how Björk's music helped him through difficult periods in his career. He shared that during times when he felt pressure to conform to certain expectations or when he was struggling with creative direction, listening to Björk's music reminded him about the importance of staying true to artistic vision. What's also unexpected is Jimin's knowledge about Björk's collaborative process and her work with various artists, producers, and visual creators. He demonstrated deep understanding about her creative partnerships and how she maintains artistic integrity while working with others. This insight has apparently influenced how Jimin approaches his own collaborations and creative relationships. The interview took another interesting turn when Jimin revealed that he actually attempted to incorporate some Björk-inspired elements in his recent work. While maintaining his own style and appeal to the BTS fanbase, he experimented with unconventional sounds, abstract lyrical concepts, and innovative performance elements that reflect Björk's influence. What makes this admiration even more fascinating is the contrast between Björk's experimental, sometimes challenging artistic approach and the mainstream appeal that BTS represents. Yet Jimin managed to find a connection between these seemingly opposite worlds, showing his sophisticated understanding of the artistic spectrum and his ability to appreciate creativity in all its forms. Jimin also discussed how Björk's approach to visual artistry has influenced his aesthetic choices. Her collaborations with avant-garde directors, her innovative music videos, and her approach to fashion as a form of artistic expression have all contributed to Jimin's own evolving visual identity as a solo artist. The most touching part of the interview was when Jimin expressed hope for someday meeting Björk or even potentially collaborating with her in some capacity. He acknowledged that such a collaboration might seem unlikely, but he believes that artistic boundaries should always be challenged and that meaningful connections can happen between any artists who share a commitment to authentic expression. Social media reaction to this revelation has been absolutely wild. ARMY worldwide are discovering Björk's music for the first time. Music critics are analyzing potential connections between her work and Jimin's artistic evolution. And there's growing speculation about how this influence might manifest in his future projects. What's most beautiful about this whole revelation is how it demonstrates Jimin's artistic maturity and his willingness to draw inspiration from unexpected sources. Instead of limiting himself to obvious influences or commercially safe choices, he opened himself to challenging, boundary-pushing art that requires active engagement and emotional investment. The story also highlights the importance of keeping an open mind in artistic exploration. Jimin's discovery of Björk shows how transformative it can be when we venture outside our comfort zones and engage with art that initially might seem foreign or challenging. Industry insiders are particularly impressed with the depth of Jimin's artistic appreciation and his ability to articulate complex creative concepts. This revelation has elevated the perception of his artistic sophistication and his potential for future creative endeavors that might surprise everyone. Looking at Jimin's recent work with knowledge of Björk's influence, certain elements start making more sense. His willingness to experiment with unconventional sounds, his approach to emotional vulnerability in performance, and his increasing involvement in creative direction all reflect lessons learned from studying an experimental artist who refuses to be categorized. So ARMY, what do you think about this absolutely unexpected revelation? Jimin's admiration for Björk really shows another dimension of his artistic personality that we're only beginning to understand. It demonstrates his sophisticated taste, his openness to challenging art, and his commitment to growing as a creative individual. This revelation reminds us that our favorite artists are complex individuals with rich inner lives and influences that extend far beyond what we might expect. Jimin's appreciation for Björk's experimental approach shows his artistic courage and his desire to push boundaries in his own creative journey. What did you think about this shocking artistic influence? Let me know in the comments if you were surprised by this revelation, and don't forget to like and share if you found this insight into Jimin's creative mind as fascinating as I did. Until next time, keep appreciating the artistic depth and complexity of our incredible Jimin.